Okay, so you are curious on what is house hacking. Well, today on my video, we are going to be going over the what is house hacking, why should you house hack, and what are some different ways that you can begin house hacking. So stay tuned. What is up, everybody? My name is Jens Nielsen and I'm a local real estate agent here in the state of Utah. On my channel, I go over everything when it comes to home buying, selling, investing, and relocating tips here to the state of Utah. I go over home tours, market updates, and much more. So if that interests you, hit that subscribe and like button so you can stay tuned for more future content. Okay, everybody, so today on my channel, we are going over what is house hacking. And we are going to be going over 3 parts of it on what it is in the first place, why you should do it, and how the numbers make sense, and what are some different ways that you can implement it to take advantage of this house hacking trick. So just to start off and preface, I personally am currently house hacking with my wife. It's actually our first home that we purchased, and we thought it to be an excellent opportunity to not only be able to get a house in the current housing market, but then to also begin the real estate investing strategy and to be able to start building our rental portfolio. So starting it off with number 1 is, what is house hacking? Essentially, house hacking is when you find ways to generate income with your house. Traditionally, house hacking meant purchase a multifamily property, live in one portion and rent out the others, and to either break even or begin cash flowing on the property, which then allows you to live in the house mortgage free. Now, a lot of people like house hacking because not only can they get into a property, but for the most part, the tenants are either paying a majority, a good chunk, or maybe even all of the mortgage completely, which makes it so you are left with minimal to zero bills for living in a house. Hence the term house hacking. Not only are you building equity with your tenants paying your mortgage, you get depreciation tax write-offs. You get more write-offs for any updates and renovations that you make on the property. The tenants are paying down your mortgage, your home is appreciating, and you get to live for free or very cheap. So I think it's an overall win-win situation for those that are willing to explore being a landlord, purchasing a house, and begin real estate investing all at once. Now, when it comes to house hacking, for the most part, most people either start off with a single family rental, duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Now, there are ways to do it with more units, but then you have to get a little bit more intricate with your financing. Anything above 4 units is considered commercial, so that's when you have to start getting a little more tricky and to come up with some creative ideas on how to get that financing and also still get that house. So that brings us to part number 2, which is, why do house hacking in the first place? Well, for a lot of people, they might be living in some markets where the housing is just too much to be able to afford on your own. On the other hand, some people might want to get started in real estate investing, but they don't have 20 to 25% down on a $300,000, $400,000 property, with that being anywhere from 60 to 100, 150K. So a lot of people choose to house hack, and why a house hack is to reduce your living expenses, to have a tenant pay down your mortgage, and to become a real estate investor. There's a lot of people out there that decide not to do real estate investing because they think it is impossible to purchase your first property. They have the mindset that you need either 20 to 25% down. Well, if you do house hacking, you technically only need anywhere from 3 to 5% down to purchase your first rental property. So why house hacking makes financial sense? When it comes down to it, you want to take a look at the numbers to see if it's going to be a financially good situation for you. I will take my personal example with my wife and I. We purchased a duplex down here in Springville back in December of 2020. Our purchase price was just shy of $400,000, and our interest rate was pretty low in the 2s. We put 3.5% down and bought down some of the interest rate with some extra cash that we had to make it so it was going to be a little bit more financially worthwhile down the long road. So our final payment at the end of the day, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, was just under $2,000. Now, the unit itself was a top and a basement level. The top unit is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, about 1,100 square feet, and the basement is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,100 square feet, and plenty of storage. Both units have their own washer and dryers, and both units come with a single car garage. So given all of these variables in the area, we were estimating that we were going to be able to rent out the property anywhere from $1,000 to $1,100. So with that being said, we were able to get $1,100 for the basement unit. Now, a lot of people might say, well, why not live in the basement and rent out the top portion because it's a little bit more desirable? Well, In the past, we had lived in some basement apartments prior to purchasing this unit, and we were just a little bit tired of living in the basement and wanted to make a switch to living in the top unit. Now, we could have gotten more money for the top unit, roughly $1,500 at least, but we wanted to live in the top portion and just rent out the basement portion for a little bit less per month. So taking our $2,000 a month payment minus the $1,100 for the rent made it so that we were only paying $900 to live in our duplex. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's freaking amazing to live in a $400,000 house, 5 bedroom, 2 bath, plenty of storage, covered garages and everything for only $900. Now, something to keep in mind is that the utilities are separate, and we had the opportunity to bill out the tenants separately. This is our first time doing landlording, and so we decided personally just to charge our tenants just electric. So at the end of the day, we are paying a little bit more than $900. We're probably paying close to about $1,100 to live in our duplex, but $1,100 versus a $2,200 payment. So something to keep in mind is, why do the numbers make sense, or how do they make sense? Well, now, once we move out of the property, which we're planning to do here soon, our payment is fixed. That's the great thing about real estate investing and getting a fixed 30-year mortgage, because our payment's gonna stay the same no matter what. If we refinance to adjust that payment, that's one option. But for the most part, our payment's gonna stay fixed. And if rental rates continue to increase, that's just gonna be more cash flow down the road. So like I mentioned just a little bit earlier in the video, we were anticipating that we could probably get $1,500 for the top unit. Well, now we're looking at it, we could probably get anywhere from $1,600 to $1,700 because rental rates have increased in the area. We've renovated the top portion while living in it, and it does have a larger single car garage with a workbench, so much space for storage, and much, much more. So hypothetically speaking, if we were to move out and rent out the top portion and increase the rents in the basement portion to update to current market rents, then we could potentially see $1,600 from the top portion and maybe even roughly $1,200 for the bottom portion, for a total payment of $2,800 of rents coming in to us each month. Now, our payment's only $2,000, so that means we get $800 cash flow every single month, because when we move out, the utilities are stubbed separately, so that way we have the ability to charge the tenants each of their utilities respectively. So not only are they paying our mortgage, they're paying their own utilities, and we get $800 cash flow every single month. Now, something to keep in mind is that you'll probably want to put a portion of that aside every single month to cover for future or current repairs. As you know, living in a house, it's gonna have some wear and tear, and especially being a rental, you wanna make sure that you have some money set aside just in case some repairs are needed. So hypothetically speaking, if we were to put $300 aside every single month for future repairs, we'd have $500 a month of cash flow of just the property sitting there and us renting it out. Now, when we go on to our next place, if we decide to do another house hack, live in the top portion and rent out the basement, then let's say hypothetically our next payment would be $1,000 for just our portion. Well, we could apply that $500 a month towards our mortgage for the next place, our portion, and then we're only paying $500 for maybe even a nicer property. So as you can see, as time goes on, it starts to snowball and you get more and more and more and more. If we were to move out of the second property and cash flow on that one, then both of those cash flows could go towards the third property, and we could probably be living for free in that unit. Then at that time, we would have 6 doors total, with one of us living in one and living completely rent-free. So this is one of the beauties and a lot of reasons why people choose the house hack, because it has the potential to start snowballing your real estate investment portfolio. So lastly, part number 3, we're gonna go over a couple of different options that you can do to house hack. Number 1 is gonna be the traditional method, finding a legal duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Now when I say that, I mean it has to be registered with the city that that the 2 units are separate entities. Now, they can be attached to the same building, but they are legally registered by the city as separate entities or separate units. A lot of times you might find people house hacking with a single family rental. They'll build a single family home, or they have a single family home, and then they can rent out the basement, but it's technically like a mother-in-law apartment. A lot of the times cities might only limit to who can live in those units. So that's something very important that you want to keep in mind. If it's a single family rental, you might only be able to rent that basement portion out to relatives or people that are very close to you. So you have to keep that in mind before you make the purchase. So number 1, like I said, is a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. There are many different opportunities and loan programs out there that can help you get into one of those units. Like I did myself, I started with the duplex, and we're gonna keep on compounding and keep moving our way up. Now number 2 is, like I mentioned in part number 1, which is the single family rental. You could purchase a pre-existing home that maybe has a separate entrance into the basement. Now check, you might be able to get away with renting out to people other than family, but it might be one that you have to rent out to family. Always check with your real estate agent and the city on what options you have available. And lastly, number 3, which is an awesome and newer method, is the short-term rental or Airbnb. What a lot of people are doing right now is taking advantage of the crazy interest with Airbnbs. A lot of people are deciding to vacation, and you'd be surprised in the areas that people are willing to go and stay in short-term rentals. Now, a lot of people are doing the same thing with either a single family rental, a single family home with a mother-in-law suite in the basement, or with a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Check with your city just to make sure that it's okay, but you could potentially get much more returns on using one of the units as an Airbnb short-term rental. All right, everybody, so I hope that this has been helpful. Like I mentioned in the video, when it comes down to it, the home buying process for like a house hack unit is going to be very similar to purchasing just a normal unit, unless it's 5 or more units. If you go the traditional route with a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, or with a single family with a mother-in-law suite in the basement, or even try the Airbnb route, just ask your loan officer what loan programs are going to be available for you. It is very likely that you can get one of those for anywhere from 3 to 5%, which I think is amazing and a hack for how you can begin your real estate investing portfolio. Anyways, guys, I hope that this video has been very informational and helpful for you. If it has, please hit that like button so that way the algorithm can push my content out to more people that need my help. If you have any questions to any answers that I may not have put in this video, put your question down in the comment section below, and I'm happy to answer those questions for you. If you would like to get in touch with me and ask me questions personally about real estate investing or just real estate here in the city of Utah, here's my contact information. Let's get in touch, and I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.